Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acupuncture's My Life. Now, I'm glad many of you feel that you've benefited from the last episode, Sleep Deprivation and Acupuncture, because sleep deprivation leads to a myriad of disorders if it continues for an extended period of time. And a few hours ago, I engaged in an interesting conversation from a young lady in India, and we spoke about diet, eating, foods, not only foods that are bad for you, that can play into sleep deprivation, but foods that are good for you. You know, and I had a little Eastern nutrition consultation session with her over the app. And this is why it's best for you guys to download the app. There's so many benefits to owning the Acupuncture's My Life app. Just go to your app store, download it, it's free. Okay? But now, not just what you're putting in your mouth can play a huge part when it comes to sleep deprivation, but timing. And this slips so many individuals' minds globally. And they'll be so active during the day and just doing so much. And they may forget a meal. They'll have breakfast. And they'll have lunch, and then they're just running crazy. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even have dinner yet. Let me grab a bite. And then, you know, it's late, and they're looking to grab a bite and then go to sleep, and that's not good. You know, because it's not just what you eat, it's also when you eat it. You want to make your last meal 3 hours or more before you go to sleep. Because it takes about 3 hours or so to fully digest your last meal. So you see, if you eat before you go to bed, you're really exhausting chi and blood. Because your body's using chi and blood to digest this meal, and during those hours when you're sleeping, your chi should be used to repair your body as well as your mind at night. So if chi and blood is being used to digest food, it affects your overall quality of sleep, and it can also lead to symptoms such as heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux, even those wake up in the middle of the night trips to the bathroom. And that's really going to throw your sleep off. And also in eating before 3 hours before going to sleep, try not to eat large meals. Try not to eat fatty foods, spicy foods, alcohol during this time as well. Stay away from citrus fruits, because citrus fruits tend to increase your levels of acid in your stomach, and that can possibly keep you up throughout the night and even cause heartburn. You see, because an acupuncturist understands, you know, a bad diet, overeating or eating too much in the way of greasy, spicy foods, it can cause food stagnation and phlegm heat in a person's stomach, causing the chi of the stomach to rebel upwards. And this phlegm heat can affect a person's mind, and it can also cause heartburn. All right? And this is why I say seeing a physician on an annual basis, regular checkups, blood work, so forth, making regular wellness visits with your acupuncturist is super important. Because if we notice that it's your diet that's causing this sleep deprivation problem, you would undergo an Eastern nutrition consultation to make changes to your diet and be advised on better foods to eat. And then, because there's certain foods that you want to avoid to get a good night's sleep. The main one being processed foods. I speak of this all the time. Foods that are high in calories, high fat, sugar. If you take a second to think about it, this shouldn't even surprise you if you're suffering from some type of sleep disorder and your diet is bad. Because those types of foods tend to have a high glycemic index. So when it's broken down by the body, it causes this quick spike in blood sugar. All right. Now, you also want to avoid these foods because you become more prone to becoming diabetic and obese. And these foods ruin or destroy your circadian rhythm, which makes it much more difficult for you to get to sleep at night. And then it's going to cause you to feel as if you lack energy, which is going to cause you create that vicious cycle to push you to want to eat more. And then boom. Now you have problems. And now you're faced with the sleep disorder, and you'll definitely be seeing an acupuncturist then. Because high glycemic index foods, they tend to include sugar, sugary foods, sugary soft drinks, white bread, white potatoes, white rice, processed meats, and various types of snacks such as cakes and biscuits and so forth, and so on. If you notice you're having problems with sleeping, look to avoid these types of foods, okay? Really try your best to look to avoid those types of foods. There are certain types of foods that can help you get a better night's sleep. You need to include a lot of low glycemic index types of foods in your diet. Because these types of foods are broken down more slowly by the body. All right? But the key here is it's all about what you eat, because you are what you eat. And it will affect your sleep. You can even include, let's say, medium glycemic index foods to your diet as well. Examples of medium glycemic index foods include, let's say, honey, basmati rice, whole bread. Now, low glycemic index foods would include salmon, eggs, beans, wheat pasta, oats, lentils. So it comes down to what you eat and drink as well. And not just sugary drinks, but coffee, and I speak of that a lot. If you can get rid of coffee, do so. See an acupuncturist and talk to him or her about various types of herbal teas that may be beneficial. But outside of drinks, foods are important. You want to include fish. Let's take, for instance, because fish is high in vitamin B6. So vitamin B6 tends to encourage the production of the sleep hormone melatonin. And fatty fish is also a good source of vitamin D and omega-3 fatty acids, which are important in the production of serotonin, which is considered the happiness hormone, which aids with sleeping. Okay? So having fish is super important, or adding it to your diet. Because there's studies out there that discuss, the association between fish consumption and high sleep quality. So think about that for a moment. And if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you can get B6 from leafy green vegetables such as kale, spinach, cabbage, and you can get vitamin D from, let's say, mushrooms. So, if you're concerned about eating fish, you can look at those types of vegetables as well. And to many individuals' surprise, right, when I was messaging back and forth, the young lady from India over the Acupuncture My Life app, I expressed to her bananas are good. Great source of vitamin B6. One banana is roughly around 1/3 of the daily required amount of B6 needed. So think about that. And bananas also contain magnesium, and magnesium has been known to lower stress levels. And then there's potassium, which serves as a form of muscle relaxant, and melatonin itself. And bananas can significantly increase the concentration of melatonin in a person's blood after about 2 hours. So imagine having a banana for dessert after dinner. Think about that for a moment. What else could be good? I would say almonds. I didn't bring this up to the young lady from India over the Acupuncture My Life app, but almonds is great too. It's a low fat source of protein that tends to stabilize blood sugar. It contains magnesium and tryptophan, which is an amino acid that plays a key role in the production of serotonin, which is that happy hormone, and melatonin as well. You ingest a few hundred milligrams of, I don't even want to talk about almond extract. I was, but I'll leave that out. Yeah, I'll sit with an acupuncturist to talk about that. But if you have late night snack cravings, reach for some almonds. You'll notice a difference. You really would. You will definitely notice a difference, because you have to understand, health is wealth. Okay? Wealth is not in an app on your phone or the wealth can be in the Acupuncture My Life app on your phone, but in general, the wealth is not in an app on your phone. It's not in a cryptocurrency account. It's not in a bank, nor is it in a safe. The wealth is not in your pocket, your wallet, nor your purse, as well as the wealth isn't under the doghouse in the backyard. Neither is it under your mattress or in the shoebox in the closet. I'm sure by now you fully understand that the wealth is in you. And that's where it belongs. That's where it should be. This is why you listen to Acupuncture My Life app. Podcasts. I'm so hooked on this app and just getting so many messages from you guys. I'm backed up, and those that I've forgotten about to respond to, hang in there. I'll get to you soon. But also, you may want to consider sour cherry juice if you're suffering from sleep deprivation. Okay? sour cherry juice, which is good for you. And I'm going to, even though I want to expand on it, and I know many of you guys want me to expand, but there's certain things I want to leave to an acupuncturist to discuss with you. It's part of why I say see an acupuncturist. Because a lot of you guys are listening to these podcasts, and yes, you're benefiting from it, and that's what you should do. That's the intent. But then I've had one person from Germany literally message me and say, why see an acupuncturist when we can listen to you, take your advice, and just do X, Y, and Z? And no, that's not the intent. The intent is to educate you to the many benefits of acupuncture that you're unaware of. And I know some of you guys enjoy me expanding on certain things and you're really benefiting from it. That's good. That's great. But the intent is not to keep you from seeing an acupuncturist. So there's certain things I won't go in depth on. But something else you may want to consider, and I'll throw this tip out there: chamomile tea. Now be careful, because it does contain some caffeine, which can interfere with sleep. But chamomile tea is a great alternative because it contains apigenin. Wait, how do I spell it? Let me. I always stumble on that word when I speak with my patients. Apigenin. How do you spell that? Apigenin. Apigenin. And that's basically a chemical compound that binds to specific receptors in your brain to sort of decrease anxiety and initiate sleep. And I threw that in there, a little bonus in there for you. So you may even want to consider chamomile tea, let's say a few hours, like after dinner, after you had that banana for dessert. You may want to consider a cup of chamomile tea. But now, when it comes to sleep deprivation, the amount and quality of sleep tends to depend on the state of the mind. And your mind, and this is understood by an acupuncturist, because acupuncturists expresses this to patients all over the world when they come in to see one regarding sleep deprivation. You see, the mind, it's rooted in a person's heart, which tends to be nourished by heart blood and heart yin. So if you're suffering from some type of sleep disorder, you're sleep deprived, more times than not, it's usually induced by pathogenic factors that will agitate the heart. Or it can be due to malnourishment of the mind as well. You see, emotional stress plays a part. Again, anger tends to injure the liver and it causes liver qi to stagnate. And I spoke of this many times. And this liver heat is going to go up to the mind and disturb the mind. Another emotion can be pensiveness, because pensiveness tends to injure a person's spleen, and it causes or leads to a deficiency of qi and blood. And when you're qi and blood deficient, it'll fail to nurture the heart. And there you go. Overexertion or excess thinking can exhaust heart blood as well. And it'll fail to nourish a person's spirit. And that can affect their sleep. Prolonged illness, because when you suffer from some type of prolonged illness, see, an acupuncturist understands it'll weaken your constitution and it can exhaust your kidney yin. And guess what happens when the yin aspect of the kidneys become deficient? It can no longer nourish the heart. You remember yin and yang symbol? Heart and kidneys. So when heart yin cannot be nourished, it'll become deficient, causing the yang aspect of the heart to become hyperactive. And this heat will agitate a person's mind. Because all of your internal organs have a yin and yang aspect to it. Keep that in mind. And it's about balance, because when yin and yang is in balance, these internal organs, the human organism in and of itself as a whole, can self-regulate. But guess what else? If the chi of your heart and the chi of your gallbladder are deficient, it can affect your sleep too. You see, a constitutional weakness of both your heart and your gallbladder can cause timidity, fearfulness, indecisiveness, and a person will sleep very light at night and they'll wake up a lot during the night. Sometimes accompanied with panic, frightening dreams, and palpitations. You see why it's so important to see an acupuncturist? Because it's never a thing of, oh my gosh, I can't sleep, so let me run out and buy this so that I can sleep. And then more times than not, you still can't sleep because you do not understand the root cause of your imbalance. Where does this imbalance between yin and yang lie that's affecting your sleep? Could it be the yin aspect of a particular organ, let's say the kidneys, for example, that's deficient? So it's causing a deficiency of the yin aspect of your heart. So now the yang aspect of your heart becomes hyperactive and it's generating all this heat. Keep in mind, yang tends to be hot or warm, and yin tends to be cold or cool. So when, let's say it's in balance, your body temperature is where it should be, around 98 degrees. When it's out of balance, yin becomes deficient, you're going to have too much yang and it's going to generate too much heat. Yang becomes deficient, what did I say yin was? Cold or cool? You're going to suffer from internal cold, you're going to have aversion to cold. These are things that an acupuncturist would discuss with you. And it would be our job to figure out what's going on. Where does the imbalance lie? Is it an excess pattern, a deficient pattern? What the heck is going on with this person? Because sleep deprivation, the cause of sleep deprivation to one person very much may not likely be the cause of sleep deprivation to another. It's never a one-size-fits-all. The only way you'll fully understand this is if you simply make acupuncture part of your life. Okay? Because acupuncture is my life. What's yours?